Are
her
you,
nicknames.
are you rewriting me like Amy?
Rewriting you? What do you mean?
I'm kidding. My joke.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. John Coyne.
I know it's early. It's
and
early.
we have these things called mementos, which are like little like digital collectibles. They're these badges, and they're limited edition. And I drop them every once in a while. I'll drop one, and pretty soon, the community in the app will be able to create them. That they'll be able to create mementos for others, like who come to their events, because people are now starting to schedule their own events. Like there's an event later tonight called what if Lorelai had given birth to a boy instead of Rory. So like it's just like a little gab session with like a bunch of fans just geeking out and talking about, we overanalyze this series, and then eventually we're going to start bringing in other shows and movies and stuff. Maybe we'll have Golden Girls at some point, and we just analyze
Brady Bunch. It's funny. Yeah. I was reading the first draft of our Norman Mailer script today, but we can save that talk for after 8 o'clock.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we analyze all of this stuff. Like, I mean, sometimes it's just a lot of snark, but we sometimes get like really deep into analysis, like kind of the way they do in a TED talk, but we do it with fandom. So
cool.
Anyway, I'm going to bring some folks up. This is a pretty random process. I'm going to only be bringing up 13 because there's 2 of us up on the couch. It's a total of 15 here, and couch is open. And 1, 2, 3.
Are you making breakfast?
Hello,
6, 7.
Good morning.
8.
Good
9,
morning.
10.
Hey, Stan, can I just say?
11.
Hi.
12.
Good morning.
Hi, Stan. Welcome to Marcus. Hello, Stan.
Hi.
Hello, Stan. And by the way, this is a really casual setting. It's not like your typical podcast or interview. We're not really here to interview you. Like, we're here to hang out with you and watch the show with you, and like any insight that you can lend it like as if we were just hanging out watching this together in a living room, and you just have something that reminded you of something and you wanted to mention it.
I'm sitting here drinking coffee out of my 100th episode mug.
Oh, you got a 100th mug? I got a 100th episode tote bag.
Oh, I didn't get a tote bag.
I got a tote bag. The other day, me and Sean were here and we were talking about it, and I was like, I got my tote bag, and I pulled out this tote bag, and then we were just talking about how around the same time the Will and Grace cast, they all got cars.
Yes.
They got cars for their 100th episode, and we were like, yeah, we got tote bags.
we had a nice party. Remember the party?
The party was amazing with the
Santa Monica,
with the gambling in the back. Like there was like craps tables and stuff. Oh, it was awesome. That was probably the best party. Of course, it's the 100th episode. It was not a tote bag, by the way. It was a messenger bag.
There you go.
Even funnier.
We need to relive that experience in a virtual realm.
Yeah, and Amy and Dan came to that one as opposed to the rap party.
They didn't come to the rap party, no.
No, Jim and I were on the phone in the car, and we're like, we're gonna come pick you up. Why are you not? I mean, that's a whole other story, but
that's funny.
The 100th episode is my favorite episode, so I'm very excited for that.
That's a really good episode. It's one of my favorites too.
How are we doing on
what are you cooking me for breakfast, John?
Yes, what do you have this morning?
I actually am not cooking any breakfast. I'm here. I'm just sitting here. I didn't even have a chance to make my coffee. I think that's what you're hearing is actually our dogs being fed by.
Okay, then if you want to go up to Canada, I got some waffles.
Oh, Babsy just said I'm making you some coffee, which is very exciting.
That's a love language in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
Yes.
I don't think it would be a clue
but we're just curious. Does it have any spaces?
I'm not going to be giving I'm not going to be giving anybody even a lick of an answer on anything between now and the end. The only thing I said is check my Twitter. Check my Twitter. That's it. Just check my Twitter, and that's it. That's all you get right now. All right. It is 8:02. We're going to dive in. I know, Stan. I know you have a class later, so we want to jump on in. So hello there, everybody. To all of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Remarcus. We are a community of folks who like to watch our favorite television shows together, virtually, but as if we were in the same room, gathered around the same television, passing around boxes of Chinese takeout. The first show that we are watching together is Gilmore Girls. It was a show that I was an actor on, but I never actually watched it. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm watching it with fans of the series. I can officially call myself a fan now. We're in season 5. We're going super fast. It's all been really exciting. Those who arrive early can grab a seat on what we call the couch, at least for many of these episodes. Pretty soon we're going to be doing a reservation system. You're going to actually have to pay to come up here onto the couch in our in-game currency. I'll get to that in a bit. That's this area up top here where 15 of us have little microphones next to our avatars. And that means that we can all chat during the episode, as if we were creating a sort of social DVD style commentary track. There are no real rules to how much or how little we chat. We can chat whenever we feel the urge, same as if we were just casually watching together in person. However, we do hit our sweet spot when we keep our remarks to what is happening in the episode. We try our best to squeeze those remarks into the air between dialogue so that we can still follow what's actually going on in the show. And when we do have longer thoughts or we want to have a conversation, we save those for after the show, because we're going to stick around for about 45 minutes afterwards to chat about what we just saw. And of course, we always avoid talking about future episodes so that we don't spoil it for anyone else who has not seen it, like myself. We keep the volume on our TVs low so that when we do speak, others can't hear our episode in the background. And when we aren't speaking, we keep our mics muted to reduce background noise. All of these sessions are being recorded and archived right now on a YouTube channel. They will soon be in our Remarcus app. If you don't feel comfortable being recorded or having your recorded remarks available to the public, then just don't come up onto the couch or don't speak. We sometimes do have technical hiccups. We had one last night. My internet went out. It's very possible it could happen again. I have terrible internet. If you lose your internet, you get knocked out of the room, just come back in. You will still be on the couch as you were before. If your episode cuts off and you need to figure out where we are in the episode, there's an easy way to do that. You can get our Remarcus app, which I've just been talking about, at remarcus.com. Sign up for an account. You're going to need an account for this. Then go into the event calendar and then into the page for this particular event, where you will see a time code for where we are in the episode. If you don't have the app, or you don't want to get the app, or you don't want to have another social account, that's totally understandable. You might want the time code anyway. You can also find it on my Instagram account, where I have an Instagram live feed playing. You can tap my avatar here on Clubhouse, open up my full profile, and you'll find a link to my Instagram account. It's about 10 seconds off, so it's not as ideal as the first method with the Remarcus app, but it'll get you close enough. I will say, as I mentioned to Stan, we are playing a lot of games in that Remarcus app, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have an auction later this summer where somebody might be able to, using these in-game currencies, win that 100th episode messenger bag that I mentioned, and a bunch of other tchotchke that I've been collecting from my days on Gilmore. And we've got special events coming up. Some of these mementos will actually be sort of VIP passes to get into both virtual as well as physical events that are coming up later in the year, namely at FanFest. So I do encourage you, if you are into that kind of thing, to go to remarcus.com, get our app, and sign up. We always skip ahead past the previously on, but today, there is no previously on. And so we're starting at the first second of the show. And if you've been here before, you know what we do next. If you haven't, like Stan, we're going to all press our play buttons at the same time. So get your remote, get that trigger thumb ready on that play button. Don't do it yet. Let me get my little recorder going. Does anybody have any questions?
What do you mean press your play button?
Well, what do you mean? You've got your Netflix up, don't you?
No.
Oh, you're not actually watching the episode?
No, I just thought we were listening to it. I didn't know this a whole other part.
Do you have a TV close by?
I do. It's on. Was on? You said Netflix?
It's
What?
on Netflix.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, Stan.
I can go on
And
my
John,
computer.
do you have Instagram Live going?
I don't. Thank you.
And did you say
Um,
I'm recording? Because I don't remember.
I am recording. Yeah. So Stan, we watch these, and everybody's watching it from their own thing. We can't actually play the audio of the episode. That would be copyright infringement. So we
Right.
have,
All right. I have Netflix on my computer.
great. Yeah. Well, take your time. It's fine.
Oh,
So you want to get season 5, episode 6. I should have probably mentioned this to you. I assume that you knew what we were doing because you had popped into another episode earlier. I usually explain a little bit more.
I'm on 7.
Don't worry. You don't have to
All right.
feel rushed.
How do I get to? I'm on 7. How do you get to the one before? Okay, hold on.
Go to more episodes.
Here we go. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
All right. Now just pause it there. Pause it there at second 0.
Okay, wait, hold on. Oh, I just see my name. There you go. 0. All right, there we go. See how fast I am?
Yeah, it's
my
good.
Coffee.
I've got my coffee. I've also got a bagel.
Okay.
And
It's
thank
morning.
you, Basil.
It's hard.
All right. So we're all ready to go. We've got the Instagram Live feed going. I've got my recorder recording. We are all going to press our play buttons at the same time on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
And she's such a mess.
One thing that we'll definitely ask you, Stan, is
Uh-oh.
how much of a rewrite happened here?
Well, it's funny because I was just pulled up the first draft, and I was reading it. It might be fun sometime, either at one of the festivals, if we do a reading of first drafts. Maybe Sheila and I could bring out.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness,
Would that be
that would be
fun?
incredible.
And then everyone, because you probably all know the words better than I do. I don't know. I hadn't ever read it, like probably since we wrote it, and I was like, "Oh, this is funny." You know, so many things change. Amy was nice to us for some reason and let a lot of our stuff stay in. I mean, the whole Mothman prophecy thing was stayed, all that. Yeah, the porch light whole thing was in there, yes. And then that was in there, yes, that was the same. Socks, of course, yeah. So that was all figured out way before that. I guess it all stayed in the first draft and through filming.
I'm wondering how many people in the fandom have actually tried warming their socks in the.
I hope not. I would feel very guilty if a house is burning down. Keys are in the door. That's in the
I
script.
tried putting my socks in the oven,
Oh.
but mind you, this is 2004, 2005. I was like 11, 12. My mom thought I was insane. It's like, you are not burning my house down.
Man, I will say Scott has a haircut.
And I'm liking this haircut.
Yeah, he looks good.
Me too. It looks good.
I feel like once they started getting these two together, they really started focusing on keeping the Luke character looking good.
Oh, I
Not
could say
quite as
so much.
not quite as schlubby as he had been.
Well, they were, this whole season was about couples coming together and breaking apart. That was kind of thematic.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
This
consciously
season,
talked
I mean,
about
it seems like that's a theme
Every
for the entire
season.
series.
well,
That's
the
a-
whole thing about Emily and Richard in the wedding and all of that.
yeah.
But Amy usually did like a total rewrite on almost everyone's script. Yeah.
Ooh, Christopher is in this episode,
Danny Strong.
and Danny is in this episode.
This is one of
And-
my favorite Paris storylines.
Why?
Mine too.
Yeah, it's very fun.
So yeah, so Norman agreed to do this if his son Stephen would be in it. And Jessica Queller and Bill Prady are now about to get married.
Who?
Bill Prady, he was a writer on the show too.
Oh.
He was a co-creator of Big Bang.
Yes.
Oh.
Great show.
And I went to elementary school with Bill. So the weird thing about this show is that here we are, yay. Bill Prady. So Bill
Yeah.
Prady and I went to elementary school together. And I went to high school with Rose Abdu. Isn't that weird from one show
What,
to
really? That's so cool.
have?
I sure hope you're invited to the weddings, Dan.
Probably not, but that's a whole other story. That's the story over cocktails, not coffee. I'll tell you at the secret event. How about that? Yay! There we are.
There you are.
I still get a thrill every time I see that. I have to say, I never tire of it. Matthew Diamond, we had hired on another half-hour series to work. He's a former dancer and director.
I love Glenn.
Man, I love
so
that
much.
Glenn character. I really love that Glenn character.
Me too.
I was just gonna
He's
say.
amazing.
Me too.
He just really just doesn't get old.
Nope.
Well, we love the idea of giving like Doyle like somebody that had this success, and it just gave him a lot to play with.
Well, Glenn gets old. His girlfriends don't.
But
Very true.
I'm enjoying the colors. Oh, hey Ace.
I always there's this workspace in New York where Danny Strong is often there when I'm there, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's Doyle, but I never say anything.
Oh, you have to go over and tell him I say hi.
Wait, are you talking
I
about in
will
New York?
next time. I run into him at I'm not gonna say where.
Uh-oh.
Another
Oh
reason
my god, I love
to
it.
move to New York.
So we talked a lot about bits, and we love the idea of having his head like in there through the scene. This year was difficult because Lorelai and Rory were so seldom in the same room. Most shows don't do as many phone calls as this, but I think it's kind of cool and like real life.
Yeah, they did a good job of having them like still be together, even though they physically had to be apart for the whole
Yeah,
year.
I mean that's hard to do in writing, but in this show somehow it kind of worked. And then getting Rory back to Stars Hollow this year was always an event.
Hey, John, Mary's account got kicked out and she's back with her other account and she was wondering if she could be added back on the couch. She's done.
I like the lighting through the windows. Pretty cool. Could her phone be any bigger?
I remember those big
Cordless
that a
phone.
flip? Does she have a flip phone?
Yeah, Rory's on a flip phone, and it's so much fun to watch people on flip phones on TV because they could slam it shut, and you can't do that with an iPhone.
But aren't they bringing back flip phones?
Yeah, they brought back the razor.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought back the razor. I wanted a razor so bad when I was a kid.
They are both so beautiful.
They
Who?
need to bring the Nokias back. They stayed charged for like.
Who has flowers on their table like that?
We do sometimes in my house.
I do.
I
Actually,
sometimes go off
my
and get some
right-
flowers.
My writing partner Jim Burke does. About there they are. That's his son.
I never
See
even
that?
realized that was his son ever. So that's really cool.
Now, so we went after a few different people to play this part. We had to write a letter to get them interested and kind of explain what the show was. And here's the weird story. I had worked in casting in New York during my last year of college on a play he wrote about Marilyn Monroe. So it's another one of my crazy full circle moments that I got to remind him on the Warner's lot. I went over there and introduced myself.
Is that where the Marilyn Monroe line comes from?
Yes. So it was called Strawhead. It was a play about Marilyn Monroe. We did a reading of it.
I actually missed what you guys were saying because I was trying to focus on what happened with Norma Mailer. Oh, that scene just seemed really like kind of out of nowhere. Like
Yeah, because like, where were the main characters?
Yeah, it was very weird.
Yeah,
I'll definitely
that
have
scene
questions.
is really just setting up this scene.
Yes,
Oh.
which we rarely
It
do.
just felt like a very long scene for just being a setup scene.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to figure out like what is it there that I'm supposed to be getting from what information is important here. Whose decision was it to bring in Norma Mailer? Like was that
So we just made a list of interesting people that would like naturally feel like they would be in the spot. And Norman just was at the top of our list, and we were just gonna, when you do these kind of things, you work your way down. And then in the letter we wrote, I used the whole, I worked for Norman in college, and he agreed to do it. So we didn't have to go down the rest of the list. I wish I could find the list. I kept looking for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I want to
who
know who's on the list.
Yeah, who else is on the list?
That's a funny line.
Yeah. I love on this show to use names like that other people wouldn't know. You never do that in TV. And so I love that idea of that.
I mean, that's like kind of the heart of the show is obscure
Yes,
references, so that the fans feel like they're part of a special like VIP club.
Yeah, I mean, we never thought of it that way, but I love thinking of it that way. And now when we get notes on shows from a network or studio, and they say, well, people won't know that. And I always say, well, Gilmore Girls. So I'll throw that back.
And I think there are so many people who
Here he
did get.
comes. Here he comes, Team Logan.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. That did not just happen.
Gorgeous man.
Who is the girl?
Very brown.
Who cares?
He probably does.
He is and was gorgeous. And I remember when he came for one of his final auditions, and he was sitting by the writer's room where casting was. It was him and a dark-haired guy. I would love to know who that person is. And I came in the writer's room and I was like, we got to hire the blonde. I just love the idea of the way he looked with Alexis. The coloring was cool.
He could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Although this hair looks a little odd.
It's
His
very
hair
of the
definitely
time.
improves. It improves over time.
It does improve.
I
Hey, at
love
least he
how
doesn't have
Doyle.
spiky frostbite tips.
I love Doyle in this.
The way that Doyle is, the way that that Logan is sitting in that chair looks very uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, but they probably just said, put your feet up.
Out that she knows Logan. It's hilarious. Just because he's freaking out about his father. I love it.
Her hair looks great. I like the way it's cut. Look at Paris having to sit there through the whole scene. God, we were
I
talking
quote
about
that.
Man,
It's
were
a
we,
great
were
line.
we using,
Great
were we
line.
using
Boy, we were
privilege
ahead of
white-
our
wider.
time. Look at that, how ahead of our time we were.
Were we? I was going to say we were using privileged white male.
I know,
Yeah.
and you're welcome.
Nice work, Stan.
There you go.
Such a
Just love
charmer.
that. Love it.
Okay, now how did he get that
See
pregnant so
her
quickly?
almost. You see her almost laugh.
She did.
Sign up for the app, Stan. I'll send you some kernels for that. We tip each other in kernels as well.
Okay.
Wait, he
We
gets
have
it.
our little fake Monopoly money that John invented.
Wait, Stan gets a tip for creating like a complete cultural touchstone.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll give him a couple kernels for that.
Come on. I put that on par with Sure Jam.
100%.
Oh, here she comes. She's so cute.
I mean, the fact that it's his son definitely is something I can't unsee that.
No, and look, he has his book there. And I think Jessica Queller, the writer, knew the son. Little dimples.
Suki's the most incredible chef in the world. I've never seen a chef in real life who was like that.
Completely.
But I have a hard time looking at those scenes and seeing all that wasted food.
What brand of computer is that?
I know.
It's an Apple.
It's the
No,
old
but I mean-
apple she got at her birthday, but she put a sticker over the.
No, okay.
Yes.
That seems like a clearance thing that they did.
That is a Yale sticker. If you look carefully, it's Dan the dog.
How many cups of coffee?
Oh
is she
yeah.
have?
I was
Never
just
realized
look
that.
at the
Yeah.
90 cups of coffee.
9 cups and 1 is turned over.
But verify for me, Stan. Those are the cups from craft services.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
We were not allowed on set very often. We came down to cut the cake for the 100th episode. Otherwise, they wanted us in that writer's room locked away. But I remember the table read with Jared was there. And I think
Dozy is the local 7-Eleven.
oh, that's attractive.
They actually legit have him in a white hat, like just like once said to him, it's white Stetson or something like that. Now he's wearing it.
It's a lot of phone calls.
I would not eat those hot dogs that have just been sitting at those.
Nope. Mm-mm.
He's impaling them on those spikes. That looks really appealing.
And that cowboy hat looks like his character from Walker that he's on right.
Maybe this scene was like a screen test for that.
Probably.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Stan.
I know your voice.
Why did Paris care so much about the religion beat?
She
I
like
don't
scaring them
know.
into oblivion.
I guess it could be the funniest possible beat.
Well, I mean, she does have that strong personality and likes to take control over situations, and it's perfect for her.
So that's Rebecca Metz, and she's I think she said this was her first guest spot. She plays a mom on I think a Nickelodeon show now, and she was on Better Things.
She was in the breastfeeding episode where Luke gets uncomfortable.
Really?
I thought so.
Oh yeah.
but she didn't have any speaking roles. It wasn't a speaking one.
I mean, they were so great with casting and finding really wonderful actors like John.
Yeah, the casting on this show, I think, is probably the best. At its time was the best in the industry. There was
He's having a
nobody.
heart attack.
Yeah. So he just made a movie with Melissa.
I did hear him talk about that on.
Yeah, in
Scott's
Australia. Yeah.
I love Michelle's hair like this.
I feel like it started like this when he went to that other hotel. It's like when he came back from that other hotel after the was it after the dragonfly burn?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
he
independent
went to that
hotel.
hotel. He came back. It's like he never left that style.
He's one of the characters that are actors that ages in reverse over these course of these 7 years. He actually looks younger and younger each year instead of older. It's amazing.
It's like Ed Herman with the mustache. Once he has the mustache, spoiler, he doesn't go back.
Absolutely. And I can't see him without it anymore.
Are you serious? Is that it? We're never going to get to see him ever again without the mustache?
That's it.
Sorry.
No more naked
sorry,
Richard.
John.
You were beheaded before, the end of the show, so you wouldn't know.
But when the show started, I said, "Oh my goodness, the facial
Wait,
hair,"
who is
because
this
when I
team?
saw
Is
him
this
with-
a team? This guy?
No.
Yeah.
No, we need to make a team for him. Yeah. Well, why
She's
is this?
just interviewing him.
I
John, I love
think
how you
he-
think everybody's a team.
Yes,
think he's the-
Booyah.
I think he's the father of the baby.
He's the
No spoilers.
He
I had to
is
stop
the
myself because I almost.
He's cute.
Wow. So this is a Napster reference.
Yeah.
A Napster joke.
How do you like that?
Yes.
Like, wow, that really aged.
But at the time, it's hard to explain like how relevant this scene was. It was like completely what my entire college existence was.
Afterwards, I'm going to tell you about a game that
Me
I used
too.
to play amongst my friends. That we called it Napster. We used Napster and we called it Napster. Sean was a part of it. I'll tell you in the post show. But we used Napster, and it's a big part of that era of my.
But stealing music, I mean, that was an interesting, thing that was happening.
I hate to tell you, but there are still people who download movies and
Yeah.
shows and music.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
I still have CDs.
BitTorrent.
so.
BitTorrent basically is the replacement of that.
Ooh,
Okay,
Uh-oh, what's going to happen here? Here we go.
Bulimia? No.
That's not funny.
John.
Come on, John.
Sorry. I went there.
There we go.
Gorilla.
I'm so excited.
Who is this?
You'll see.
You'll learn soon, John. You'll learn soon.
No,
Oh, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know anything beyond this episode other than the stuff he
But
did
I
himself.
love that this was just like teased here, And you're like, what? And she just sees this.
Yep.
And then starts piecing things together. And little did we know what was coming.
Hey, there's that line that I've heard a bunch and seen on T-shirts with the little umbrella.
I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing
Welcome to the
my
club,
Prada
John.
shirt today. I'm just saying.
This is
I'm-
so fun. I have to say, Sam, this is really fun because I know about a lot of
These
things
lines.
just in references, and now I'm like learning what they all mean.
See?
I found out what the bop it was yesterday. I was like, oh, that's that thing that Valerie always brings to the fan fest.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
There you go, John.
I love that Lorelai's all in with this like
The-
cowboy hat.
I was just gonna
and
say, I
nachos
want some of
and
that
stuff.
queso. I want some of that queso right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like we're extra rowdy with Stan here.
So I bring that out in people. I like Chris. I like them together. I was always in the room saying there's something about them. I was very happy. You know, obviously he uses her. So what's the story that happened with the actor? Because he kind of disappeared after all the controversy.
We can't talk about it.
Okay, sorry.
We'll talk
No
about it after, I
spoilers,
guess.
Stan. No spoilers.
Oh, God.
There was a
Oh
rumor
my
that
God, what a mess. What is she gonna do?
There was a rumor that he was involved in January 6th.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well,
Wasn't a
let's not
rumor,
talk
his
about that
social
yet
media
because I want to like him.
Sorry, yeah. I want to like a lot of these actors, but there you go.
Gigi.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so wild. Like, I
Why?
just had no idea that this character even existed. None. And now it's like a character. I mean, that's an actual person.
Yeah.
Is Gigi's room in the living room? Like, why doesn't this child have a room?
Maybe it's a 1-bedroom apartment.
Maybe.
That's the living room?
Yeah, she just
Yes.
walked in the front door and there's the crib.
Oh yeah. No, there was a
This move with the crib is genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom did it with
Yeah,
me.
I did it.
And I
hate
purposely
Chris.
bought a crib with a higher back than front because
That's kind of brilliant.
I hate Chris.
Dan, did
no.
you write that in?
John's
Did you write
taking
that
notes.
in, Stan?
What?
The turning the crib that way?
Yeah, but I don't think I knew that. I'm sure somebody in the room must have. And
I
I'm
see.
sure Amy didn't know that either.
I was going to
You
say that doesn't sound like something Amy would know.
No, you know, we were not allowed to bring any kids to her Christmas party.
listen, John. Sherry's gone.
What the hell?
Yep.
What?
Yep. Why do you think we hate her?
Yep.
At the same. This goes back to one of your predictions. I'll tell you.
She leaves her kid.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Probably the best reaction to anything we've watched so far.
Sorry, I had to laugh because John's what is in my ears as Lorelai is saying it on screen.
They're sitting so close together.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And this is awesome. This is awesome because things just got real.
I know. Take a shower. It's so sexy, isn't it?
That's not what I meant, but yeah.
The
I know.
reversal of fortunes here.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I've been talking a lot about how we need some conflict in this series between Luke and Lorelai, and I'm starting to feel it right.
Exactly.
I love the Wonder Woman reference because I always think of Linda.
So don't rag on Lorelai. Look what she's doing. She's a good person.
She's a great person.
Yeah.
Chris isn't though.
She's
Well,
a very
people
good
say-
friend.
Rag on her.
Well, people are saying, "Oh, she's so selfish," and look what she's doing.
And would have
She
Chris
didn't have to-
raised her? I don't know.
No, probably not.
I didn't think so.
I think the grandparents would.
I
have
was
that.
just gonna say
Yeah,
Strobe
I think
and
Emily
what's
and
her
Richard would have.
And that is a real trope. to show a disheveled man just take one of
That's all you have to
the
do.
sides of their shirt and pull it out.
Let's
And he
get
leaves
Valerie
the
on.
tie on for all those days too. I
Yeah.
always,
What about
always
the-
wonder that.
And is that Lorelai's boa? What is that?
No, it's Sherry.
I know. Okay.
All right, so I'm there. Sherry is it.
Horrible.
That one was for Sherry and
Yes.
for
Oh, this
for
is
Sherry
funny.
in the audience. Ick.
I saw that.
This is
coming.
funny.
I love Paris's sweater.
It's
Oh my God, for a
fabulous.
split second, I thought she was wearing one of these things that like workers on the highway wear.
Oh my God, a safety vest.
Wait.
Oh, see?
It's beginning.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Sparky, spark.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Here we go. I'm so excited.
Ah,
Yeah, there it is. I'm wearing my Not Me Prada shirt today.
I'm wearing my Norman Mailer pregnant shirt.
I'm wearing my I do what I want shirt.
So if she hadn't done that other story, she never would have seen the girl and the gorilla and never would have gotten involved. Yep.
That's great. I love that. I love.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness. I've seen this thing. I've seen this in reference to memes. I added a meme today to my thing that has to do with this. This is cool.
Yes, it does.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You couldn't say that.
Well, you
about-
know, they all know I'm a huge Puffs fan. I love the Puffs from Chilton in season 1 or 2, I forget.
I've been waiting.
So I'm loving
waiting
this
for
secret
this.
society stuff. I'm big into the secret stuff.
I couldn't wait till we got to here because I knew you'd love it so much.
So we had the secret society and then we had to back into it with all these other plot twists. You see? Oh, I remember that.
Oof. I can't wait to hear more.
See, now they're together in a scene.
Thank goodness for Friday night dinner.
And that was genius of Amy, I have to say. They liked the long sleeve look, didn't they, on her?
Well, it's supposed to be the Northeast.
Oh yeah, Northeast with a plunging neckline like that, so she'll be very
And-
warm with the long sleeves.
Yeah. And Brenda liked that to have layers. You know, they always had layers. Like, look at how Rory's shirt is longer than the. Oh. Oh, I like that. Halston, how timely.
I like Lorelai's hair here.
Yeah.
Halston, yeah.
It's a little frizzy on the edges, but I like the length.
Well, she's been in the car for a half an hour.
Huh?
What?
That's funny.
I love that the maid let them in anyway when there's
Yeah.
no one home.
And she's clearly never met them before because she's probably only been working here for 2 days.
Right.
So they could just be random strangers.
Well, their pictures are in the house.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Maybe. Do we ever see any pictures in the house?
Yes, on the
I think
mantle.
so.
Okay, yeah.
They are way
Rory's
too
oil
family
painting.
oriented not to have photos of them. And there's the gigantic portrait of Rory in the study.
Yes, there is.
Who would have thought that they would ever do this? Want to stay at their grandparents' house and actually talk?
But it was a great way to get them in the scene together. But then we didn't have the actors because the actors weren't in every episode. Emily.
It's brilliant. It's great.
It always reminded me of some grandparents. Like my grandmother had a room we couldn't go into in her house, and we went in there anyway. And this reminded me of that. Like the parents aren't home. We're gonna like eat pizza and take our shoes off and stuff. Like it's so funny.
Rory does not approve.
Interesting.
Oh, look at her face.
Wow. Definitely not. They're not hiding. They're not
what is
hiding their
that?
feelings.
What is that she handed her?
Something really ancient that we
Called
don't
a
see
phone
so much.
book. I believe they used to be called a phone book.
Yeah.
We still get
And
phone
in
books.
one episode of Golden
like
Girls,
right
Sophia,
here. Whoa,
and in
this
one
is
ep-
so wild.
and in one, hold on. And in one episode of Golden Girls, Sophia used it to prop her butt up so she can try.
There you go.
Huntsberger. Huntsberger?
There
Is
you
that the
go.
name?
Elias Huntsberger.
Oh, this is great. It's getting all like kind of mystery,
See?
like
It's like
story.
piecing. Yeah.
This is totally John's jam.
Fully my jam.
And me. I love this stuff. This was so fun.
I love this line.
Funny. Please tell me that that was your joke, Stan.
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah. What?
Yes,
Oh,
Kirk
there we
as
go.
a weenie.
I didn't realize you this was in your episode, Stan. That's really cool.
You're welcome.
I love this movie.
Classic.
God, that outfit,
I
that
know.
costume looks so uncomfortable.
Has anybody ever shown up to FanFest with a hot dog costume?
Oh, yes.
No, but it needs to happen.
Oh, we're back to that storyline. Oh, Suki.
The quiche made me look fat.
Look at his feet. Get to jump down. That's cute. Oh
my gosh.
Oh, look who's.
Here we go. I'm so excited.
I'm not Team Logan, but
Come on.
he's very bad at hiding.
Oh boy.
Can't you feel the heat?
Yes, I can.
Logan's face. Lots of facial reaction.
Just kiss her. Oh.
That wouldn't be at all out of the blue.
Oh, this is so good.
Oh boy. She has like so much.
She's a good reporter.
Ooh, she's so much better than him in this.
Yep.
Well, wait for it.
Oh, there he goes, right back at her. Damn, Megan.
Oh,
Damn.
yeah.
Man, this is a good episode.
How many tomatoes do you need?
I have a feeling next episode's gonna get real good.
That's why it's my favorite episode of the series.
Hey, John, BTW, 28 are gone.
You got to be kidding me. Are you serious?
Not
You've already
kidding.
figured it out?
Yup.
Why do you think most of us been silent?
Unbelievable.
What does that mean?
I got to figure out how to.
They
claim-
figured out the clue to the memento and they've already started grabbing it.
I feel like when we figure out clues, your face is kind of like Logan's in that scene with Rory when he knows he's gotten
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
there she
mean,
goes.
like, you,
Oh, here we go,
you
here we
drop it
go.
in the beginning.
It's like no more soup for you.
What?
Oh, Suki. I want to
on,
see
that
the
was-
blooper behind this.
I love this scene.
Here we go.
Wait, what? What?
Yes.
Yay!
Oh, here she goes.
Yay.
Ah, there we go. That's where it comes.
Norman
Isn't
Mailer
that
made me
cute?
R.I.P.
So cute. I
Uh-oh.
love that moment. I love this moment. This scene is everything.
Yes,
Oh
Ferris.
my
was that
gosh.
how-
I love this scene.
Ooh.
The first
Huh?
mention of Ace, too.
First mention of eight.
Look at, she's looking around. Who's it?
Oh.
Reply. Shoot.
I feel like this
Oh,
is the
the
only time
look
we
he
really
gives her.
see
Oh
instant
my gosh, this
messaging
is very
in this series.
This is very Doogie Howser what's happening, right?
Yeah.
His smile kills me.
Look at her.
Me too.
It's very AIM culture of the early 2000s in college.
Oh, yeah. I miss that. I mean, I was
She's in.
12, 13, but hey.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
You didn't
This
notice he's
episode
gone?
is very high up on my list. And I'm not just saying that because you wrote it, Stan. This is my jam.
it's a
I
great
love this
episode.
kind of plot. I love this.
Stan, there's somebody in the audience who wants me to say hi to you. His name is Carl.
Oh, by the way, John, Valerie's down there. She popped in to say hi in the post show.
Hello, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie. Oh, he's there. Come on, that's great.
And now it's Luke's turn.
Man, you
to
really
deal with-
used Norman Mailer as
Of
much as you could.
course. Come on. Now it's gonna happen.
Here we go.
Okay,
Pay
what's with
attention.
the doors opening out? They're supposed to open in.
Oh, look at her face.
Does that mean it wasn't a real apartment door? Was this like some
Oh yeah, this is a
bedroom
complete
door she
set.
came
This is a total set.
She's
This is
so
not real.
pissed.
Ooh.
Wow. Look at her eyes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The tears in her eyes.
It seems kind
Kiss,
of
kiss Gigi
is
for me.
brilliant.
Kiss Gigi for me. What are you talking about? Go kiss her. Go kiss her.
She
Oh,
was
she's
on
too
a
angry.
mission,
She's
too
John, and
angry.
kissing her would take away from her point.
Yes.
She's just too
Oh,
angry,
she's so
Jeff.
good. I love how now when people get the mementos that we can see who has it now.
How do you do that?
You click on the memento and then you'll scroll down to the bottom and it'll say like
hold on a second.
however-
I'm opening the couch. The couch is open, everyone. Come on up. There we go.
How do I stop this? Jesus.
4, 5, 6.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
John, are
Yeah,
you
so-
are you
Hi,
unlimiting the couch? Do you want help with the couch so you
I'm
can
not
talk?
seeing my my app doesn't have a memento. Like in,
It's in You Jump, I Jump, Jack.
Yep.
oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
Dan.
50 going.
Hi.
So yeah, let's not talk too much about mementos. I'll do that at the end of this episode as we go in. For all of you folks who are scrambling to try and get those remaining mementos, don't worry. I'll give you more hints later, or you can get into discussions. I'm sure people are doing that. This episode is fire. This episode is so good.
Yup. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you left. Hi, Stan.
Hi,
It's
I
like
see
just when you
Rachel,
think-
Rachel and April and Dulcie. Hi, everyone.
Hey,
It's like it's the
Good morning.
it's the
Valerie.
episode where you it's
Hi, Val.
it's the okay. It's the episode where you think like
Good morning.
just when things are getting good, something else happens.
I always say that, like, for season 5, they have some hard-hitting episodes, and this was a really good episode.
Well done.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
season 4 was like peak for me, but I feel like season 5 might be stiff competition, and could end up. I mean, if all of this like Life and Death Brigade is going where I think it is, I could really see this season being my favorite. Just the reversal, like just the reversals in this episode were just awesome. I've been saying for a while, Stan, that like while I'm kind of into this whole Lorelai and Luke thing, that like I'm gonna get bored if there isn't something that like really threatens it, you know. What's up? I want to fight.
You want to fight?
I want to see these men. I want to see these men rolling around in front of the gazebo.
Stan, I'm telling you, like, John has been saying, like, I need some conflict. I need some things going on. I'm like, oh my God, at this point, John wants Star Solid to blow up.
but it does. I mean, when this is all so carefully planned, as I'm sure everyone knows the stories of us.
Oh, wait, not John. John don't know.
No. He's going to tell us a little bit. This is something that we've been asking, that we've been talking about, and we've all been saying, like, well, when Stan gets here, we're going to ask him. I'm super curious about how much of this was planned before you started the season, before you started, like how much was planned in that like little window before.
Yes. So during the
shoot.
summer, Amy and Dan rented another house. They lived in Hancock Park, but they rented a house in Malibu on the water. And we had to drive all the way out there every day and locked inside. They ordered food in. We had a huge whiteboard and we plotted out the first half of the season. And it wasn't like streaming shows now we have, 10 episodes. we had how many this year? 24?
22. 22. We've been doing 22 since the first season,
Yeah.
or since the second season.
So that's a lot of scripts to write. Remember, these scripts, usually our scripts are like 60 pages, and we wrote like 90 pages sometimes. And a lot of times we would have to trim after the table read. So we plotted that out. So when you think we came up with the idea of a secret society, came up with the name, and then you see, Amy really taught me something about planting seeds. So you see how just this seed was planted here, leading. We knew we were going to get to some big event like the I jump, like all that. And this was how we planted it. So you just see little pieces of it. And then, you know, even the scene in the beginning with Luke and Lorelai, and they really showed them as a couple, and they're just having fun. And then you throw, bam, Chris into it. And then, you know, how that complicates it. And just, again, starting the seeds of it.
Yeah. I mean, like the seeds with this secret society, I feel like also were kind of already, like we already started to plant some of that stuff. Some of the important part of that stuff was planted even in earlier episodes with Logan, you know, because we were already getting bits and pieces about who he was. And yeah, I mean, that's really, really cool.
I think it really changed the way I wrote and thought of writing. You know, in most series, everything happens in one episode and ends in that episode. And Amy really loved the idea of, you know, putting little seeds along the way and knowing where it's growing to. And that's why you feel like there's a whole world you're living in with this show. And it's so different, you know, it's not closed, you know, ended in each episode.
John?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. I've been meaning to ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think the reaction of Emily and Richard is going to be when she finds out that Lorelai and Luke are dating?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I think that Emily has kind of had this feeling that there was something there between them since that scene in the hospital in like what, season 2 or season 1, season 2, where when Richard. So she's been sort of sensing that the two of them had chemistry for a while. I'd probably guess, if I had to guess, I'd probably guess disappointed. Kind of a little disappointed, but just sort of like, well, Lorelai will do what Lorelai does. But what I do think is that with Christopher potentially coming back into the mix, that could also fire up Emily to want to again urge Lorelai to really consider getting back together with him.
Well, Emily's not one to sit back. Hi, Claudia, Cindy.
Yeah, hi, Stan.
Hi, Cindy.
I was too late for the couch today, so I'm really happy you're here, Stan. And I wanted to say, it's so amazing how you like created this little seeds for the Life and Death Brigade, because as I watched it the first time, I wasn't sure if it's a real thing. So I tried to Google it, and back in the days, there wasn't a lot online, so I wasn't sure for years if the Life and Death Brigade is a real thing in Yale or not. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean, the secret society was, and that's where we started. You know, and then you have to come up with different names, and you know, you're in the room pitching all these ideas. But we love that idea of the secret society, and I didn't even know what that was until I was on staff.
Is it basically supposed to be kind of like a nod to the Skull and Bones?
Yeah,
that was because around the same time, that was when we were all hearing in the news like, oh, President Bush was part of something Skull and Bones. It was kind of a and then it was like, oh, John Kerry was also a part of it, or something like that.
Maybe that's where it originated, actually.
Doyle actually mentions the Skull and Bones when he's explaining it to Rory. He's like, oh, they're like Skull and Bones. It compares them to them. So they're supposed to like exist in the same world.
But then coming up with like, okay, she's in the bathroom, so this girl, so what could she in the whole, like the mask, and then, figuring all that out and her getting in the car with just little pieces, that was all just discussed for hours and hours, to get those specific details.
Man,
Maybe we'll.
It's interesting because in Yale itself, it seems there are a lot of secret societies, not just the one we all know from Bush and so on. At the Fan Fest, there was students from Yale, and they said they actually like all in secret societies. It's like every club nearly has one, so it's like a really common thing. Like, and they get secret clues and everything. So I was really surprised about that.
Maybe we'll finally see one of those high class naked parties with those Bush girls.
There you go.
Oh, goodness.
And the whole thing with the jumping off with the umbrellas. I remember when we came up with that, I'm like, what the hell are we going to be doing?
Spoilers.
I do not know what you're
Well,
talking
no.
about.
Well, you saw the picture.
No, I know. I posted a meme. But I don't really know. But the thing that I'm super curious about now, because of course I've seen umbrellas like all over t-shirts. I've seen that little slogan all over t-shirts, and I've seen that meme of people jumping off of something.
Right.
But what I'm super curious about, which is really the only thing that's interesting about all of that, is I just want to know what it means. Like, I want to know, like, what is that? What does that ritual mean to their secret society? And so, like, I'm just super intrigued now.
Well, you gotta keep watching.
All right, I guess I'll.
In the next 2 hours, you'll know that.
I got a question, Stan.
Yeah.
The music. Okay, you know how it kind of goes from la-las to the boom, boom, kind of like sneaky kind of rhythm when when she's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she's was that like, I mean, that's amazing, because that ends up, I mean, no spoilers, but I mean, that just is, I mean,
well, when you
I
think of,
noticed
if you're the music person, the la-las are very Stars Hollow-y,
Yeah.
and so this was a way to, Rory had to get into another world. So
that's interesting. I love that. That's cool. So it's basically like, it's like we're leaving Stars Hollow. We're going into a very different place.
Yeah, and that's nothing you write in as a writer. That's, like we write. The music person's hired and they come up with, they want to play, and that's a way for them to distinguish themselves and get creative.
Well, the beats that Shauna is talking about, we also hear in Stars Hollow from time to time. I mean, if it's what I'm thinking, if I'm correct, if we remember back in the episode where Jess does the chalk outline in front of Dosie's.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that, Tisha. I keep thinking that's new. That's new. That was new with her in the bathroom when she followed that girl out there. And then I don't remember hearing it before, but I'll go back and look.
And another thing that I don't think we've talked about at any of the Fan Fest. So, like each actor, like John, like how many were you contracted for? How many episodes per season, or was it just
the recurring characters don't get? But I've actually talked to them about this already. Recurring characters don't get that contract, but I think I know what you're going to say. The regulars have a certain number of contracted episodes. And for budgetary purposes, you don't go over that, because then you're paying above and beyond that contract.
Right.
And those folks are really expensive. So on
especially
episodes,
like Kelly.
Yeah.
And so we would literally have a list on the side. Okay, let's say she had, 15 out of 22. So we would count down how many we could use her in. So it's like this one, we're like, oh, this is one we don't need her in. So that's how we came. How do you cleverly come up with?
How do you cleverly come up with with not using them, but keeping them sort of alive in the episode, which is really cool. And I remember Sean would, like, every once in a while, he would actually do an episode above and beyond his contracted amount. Like, that would happen very rarely, but occasionally you guys would be in a situation where you needed an actor.
Yeah, and I don't know if you talked about this, but sometimes Amy would be just like, fuck it, I'll pay for it. Like,
right.
Because she was always fighting with,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, they get paid. They get paid for that episode, which is like their contract. What they're paid is sort of broken down. You can break that down by the number of episodes. Like, if they're getting paid $100,000 for the season and they're doing 10 episodes, then they're getting paid $10,000 an episode. That is not that's not an actual quote. I'm just saying that's how you would break it down. So if they're getting like they're doing another episode, that's like a big chunk of money that you now have to find somewhere. The budget has already been kind of largely figured out, and so the chances that you'd be able to do something like that would be really slim without doing a lot of budget reconfiguration, which would be really difficult to do especially once you're deeper into production and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what he's saying. Like Amy would just occasionally just be like, "Fuck it, I'll pay for it."
Is that why?
She would get in fights constantly with the network and the studio, and she was just like, "This is what I want, and we're doing it." We're like, "Oh, okay." You very rarely ever see a producer putting their own money into a TV show, but she had a vision and she wanted to do what she wanted to do.
Is that why in like season 1, if like a character, considering season 1, like you're still getting your show off the ground, that like if a character was mentioned, they were at some point in the episode because it's a new show?
They don't get paid if you're mentioned. You have to be obviously seen.
Yeah, you have to be in it and seen. Yeah. But it does explain things kind of like, in early seasons, especially like in the seasons with like where Jess appears, and we'd be kind of like, "Oh, have you noticed? Like Dean is not mentioned or Dean is not in this episode at all. Isn't that interesting?" And I was sort of thinking, yeah, from a plot perspective, yeah, it's interesting. But like from a production standpoint, he's not in the episode because they used they have all of his episodes used up elsewhere,
Right. Well, like with Jared, like I think we were like, "Oh my God, we got to have him back for, whatever episodes he's in this season." So then it's like, all right, let's figure out, how we're going to use him. And if you're going to use him, because he was shooting other stuff, you really have to, give him, a couple scenes, or you're said you get him for one day. So, do everything you can in that one day. Don't give him something too plot heavy if you don't have him that much.
Hey,
Exactly.
good morning, guys. I just wanted to say hello, and also I can add a little bit to this topic. I remember Kirk had an episode. I don't know if he's done it yet, but he only does one little tiny thing. Has he done it yet, ladies and gentlemen of the Marcus?
Well,
so we don't spoil anything.
Tiny thing. I mean, he's done
He's
tons
literally
of
on
things.
camera for 3 seconds.
I don't think so.
You don't think he's done it yet? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Well, let's not talk too much about it. But one thing that I will say though, Valerie,
Yeah.
I was introduced to the Bop It yesterday. Now I know what the heck you're talking about when you.
I have the Bop It.
I know you know. I know you have the Bop It. I'm just saying I never knew what in the world you were doing there at FanFest with that Bop It, and now I'm like, okay, now I know what the Bop It is.
That's so funny.
And
then-
John, like you, I only watched the pilot, and then when we got the job, I've told this story, but we had crates and crates of cassettes. So I had to sit there over a weekend before the job started on Monday and watch all 4 seasons.
I know it's funny because I remember, I think it was going into season, it would have been going into season 4. Going into season 4, the opening party, like the opening, the like kickoff party that the cast and crew and everybody were invited to, where we learned from Amy and Dan that they had planned to get some sort of rock star. They didn't really specify. I think they didn't totally know who it would be at that point. Some rock star to be part of our band. That it was at those opening parties that you sometimes got a little bit of a whiff of what was in store for your character or whatnot. And I remember I met a writer there at that first one, and I was talking to him, and within less than a minute of the conversation, I realized that he had never watched a single episode of the show.
Oh my
but he
God.
but he was in the writers room. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm one of the writers this year. You know, I'll be in the writers room, and
Well,
he's like,
she went.
he's
through
like,
a
I
lot.
gotta start watching this thing. I was like, what?
She went through a lot of writers, and she was never happy, and that's why she asked me and Jim, you know, because we knew her from Roseanne, to come on and just kind of be friends there and hang out and stabilize things.
Yeah, that's really cool. Talking about the episode, what does everybody think about just plot perspective? Rory's whole like attitude towards the Christopher Lorelai thing.
I totally get why she feels that way.
Yep, completely get it.
I mean,
Finally giving him
she feels like
boundaries.
every time her dad comes into her mom's life, that her mom's life gets screwed up and she's sad again.
Yep.
I mean,
I would have done the same thing. Sorry.
Me too.
Yeah,
I mean, she couldn't even.
Same thing.
She couldn't even say hello to her half sister.
That's fine.
but does she ever see Gigi? I don't think she really. I think
A
she
little
rarely
baby.
sees
It's
Gigi.
a cute little baby.
Yeah, so Gigi won't even remember,
We can't.
remember the hell out.
We can't
So-
spoil, but
Then let's not spoil. I'm just gonna say, like, my favorite thing about what Rory did in this episode, which makes my heart just scream with joy. So Stan, if you wrote this line, thank you very much for it, was that she asked her mom, Lorelai, like, you sound happy? And she said, I am, kid. That made me so joyful.
Why?
You know, like, huh?
Why?
I think it's because she could kind of feel that her mom was happy in a relationship with Luke. You know, she's seen her mom go through these relationships. She's seen her mom kind of go back and forth with Christopher. Hence why what she did towards the end of the episode made so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, this is beautiful. This is a really nice moment, a nice introduction to Norman Mailer.
Well, there's there's also two things.
I love that
right?
scene.
For one, we have been wanting her to be with Luke for quite some time. Like, that's been a seed, talking about seeds, Stan, that Amy planted very early on in the series. And she, you know, we've been sort of strung along for a while, and we've wanted it. We've been wanting it more and more. So now we have that. So that's the first part of it, right? To hear her say that she's happy about that, it validates our own feelings about it. That's the first one. And then the second one is, I mean, she's had a real hard time with relationships. Like, over the course of this series, it's been really hard. And there hasn't been a lot of like, I'm feeling comfortable and balanced and happy and all of that. So those two things together, you know, kind of give us a sense of safety. And then in that same episode, suddenly you kind of kick the you know, the chair out from under us, right? By like introducing Christopher and giving us this sense that all of that may now be in jeopardy.
And that he has a control over her just when she's really happy in this, starting to be happy in this other relationship. And again, it shows Rory, I know a lot of people are saying how selfish she is, but that she, you know, what she brought up about, she cares about her mother, and that she took the time to ask that question.
I know. It's the only thing about it, though, you know, and we've talked a lot during this watch about Christopher and about, you know, just how people feel about him and whatnot. And I've been on the Christopher side for a while, and I still like Christopher. I have a feeling that probably something big is going to happen that's going to make me hate him, because everybody seems to suggest that that's probably what's going to happen. But you know, the one thing though about him is that I don't get a sense that he wants to do any of that stuff to Lorelai, right? Like, he doesn't strike me as a character who is deliberately trying to hurt Lorelai or deliberately trying to get in the way of her happiness at all, you know. And especially in this episode, I feel it really strongly there at the end of the episode, and even in the scene between him and Lorelai, because I don't get a sense at all that this has anything to do with him and Lorelai. He's trying to deal with how do I be a single dad? Like, how am I going to even do this? Right. And that scene there at the end was kind of, for me, it was kind of heartbreaking because I didn't feel like he wanted anything from Lorelai there. And he's sort of being unloaded on by Rory about all these things that really have so very little to do with his biggest dilemma right now, which is how do I raise this daughter by myself? And so as much as we can kind of understand Rory's perspective and her anger based on the past, I think that there's something to be said about looking at what's happening right now and giving Christopher a bit of a pass here.
Well, I mean, I totally agree with Christopher, because I think he probably knows nobody else who is a single parent than Lorelai, and he's a single parent now, so he needs advice from a friend. So I think it's totally okay to call her because they're friends forever. And I think it's not Rory's turn to say something about her mother and her father's relationship. They are both adults. It's not like okay to go on like this and don't even say, yeah, it's just not okay. It's great for a show, and I like it, of course, because it's a show, but in reality I would hate it and say that's not your say.
Yeah, I wasn't personally on Rory's side there.
See, but you have to remember that whenever Chris does come into town, he does like
ruin things.
Yeah, every the last time he came in when in season 2 when Lorelai and Chris got together and then he bailed. And then when he came back at Friday night dinner and Rory snapped at him, she has every right to feel the way she feels because she wants her mom to be happy, and she finally is happy, and she thinks that her father, with his past history, is going to come in and F it up.
Well, I would say that it's understandable that she would be feeling like that. I just don't know if I would say it's her right.
It's not even
I think it says
about
something. I think it says something about like how Rory feels about Lorelai's maturity. I think that Rory feels that if Lorelai was a little bit more mature and stable, then Rory maybe wouldn't feel that Chris can come in and ruin anything. I think she feels that Lorelai is more fragile, and like if Christopher just shows his face, the whole thing will come crumbling down. And she knows Lorelai won't be happy with Chris. She sees Lorelai happy with Luke. So I think that Rory is like, come on, help protect her, because she might not act appropriately if you stroll back into this.
And again, it's going
world.
back to Amy's premise of these two women being more like friends. So yes, it's mother-daughter, and the father-daughter relationship is so complicated, but she's also looking out for her friend.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think it probably would have been better for Rory to bring this up directly with her mom and encourage her to kind of set the boundaries that she needs, because going to Christopher and saying to stay away from her is really isolating him. And you can't do that to a new parent.
I know, but she's a hurt. Yeah, it's dramatic this way. She's a hurt daughter. I mean, there's so many things.
Exactly.
She could never go to her mother and say
Right,
that.
because then her mom would be like, why are you telling me to not go to your father? Like, we've been friends forever. Like, of course I'm gonna help him. She would be all mad at Rory for going to her and being like, no, don't ever talk to dad. Like, he's not good for us. And I think also it's not even just about Lorelai, it's about Rory too, because she has a really strained relationship with her father. And every time her father comes back into her life, she thinks that everything is going to be great, but then it turns to crap. So she doesn't want to be put through that again, because she's gone through it her whole life with him. So she just doesn't want to deal with having to deal with it again. So I think she's trying to set boundaries for herself and her mom, because she knows her mom would never do it, because Christopher has a hold on her. So she's trying to help her mother and help herself, because she can't go through it again.
Well, I think we've talked before about how their stories go parallel. And I think, I wonder how much of that was where she just went through this issue with Dean, and like, how much is she projecting part of that as well? Her life is now getting back to, to normal and feeling more in control of her life. And so I have to wonder how much of that she was projecting onto her father.
Oh, Tiffany, listen to you be all smart.
Actually, Stan, I have to tell you, Doyle said a line, and I'm like, I hear Stan's voice when he
Oh,
said,
no.
I got bored just hearing you pitch it. I was like,
Yeah.
that's Stan.
I never said that in our class.
No, but I could hear
Tiffany is
you.
taking my writing.
No, but
class.
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's my
Me
thought
too.
bubble.
Yeah. I actually have a question for you, Stan, if I may. I love this episode so much, and I love the Life and Death Brigade and all of that. But I was wondering, what's your favorite storyline or line period that you wrote for this episode? Because everything is like genius. This whole episode was so great. So,
Yeah, I just want to imagine that you wrote every word of this. That it
let's
written.
let's go with that.
for real though, like I.
You know, when you're in the writer's room and it's so intense and you're working all those hours and you're not sleeping and you're eating God knows what, you end up, it's a group effort, you know, like I could probably look back at the first draft and see what exactly we wrote the first time, but maybe even those lines were pitched when we were working out an outline, you know, so, you know, it's a real team effort and you're only as strong, you know, as they say, as your weakest link. So, it's also much different in an hour show, like in a half hour. In half hour shows, you are sent off and your first drafts are pretty much, you know, closer to what goes on screen. In hours, especially with an Amy show, there's just all this talk and everything changes. So it's hard to say. I mean, I love the Norman Mailer, I'm pregnant. I love the build up to it. And then it just like her coming out. So we had that idea of her just screaming that out and then backing into it.
Man, Suki is gonna have another kid. Suki's about to have another kid.
Yes, she is. Yep.
Jackson wants 4 and 4. Remember?
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? Are we gonna have more Suki pregnancies throughout the series?
No,
spoilers. 4 and 4.
Will Jackson get the 4 and 4? John, would you like to put some kernels on?
Here we go, Carl. But yeah, there were so many lines that I was hearing that I was like, knowing you now from class, Stan, I'm like, he totally wrote this line, like, or he pitched this idea. Like, I could totally hear you throughout the entire episode.
Oh yeah, speaking of lines that were written in the episode, did you come up with the privileged white male bit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes.
Damn it.
I mean,
Awesome.
that was really ahead of its time because I don't think, I mean, now you hear that and it's just everywhere, but like back then that would have just been like, you know, a clever way of saying that, right?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that we were discussing that and that was a thing, but you know, that was the world. I mean, that was, you know, Lorelai's whole world that she grew up in and that she was rebelling against, but that we had that phrase. Like I'd never heard that phrase before. I kind of forgot that it was in this episode, to be quite honest.
Hey, Stan.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna start a Wikipedia page that I invented it.
I think
Dan, are you on
Don't
Twitter?
do that.
Please that.
So
What?
Stan,
Yeah,
I
was
think
gonna
I can
ask a
speak for the group that it's been great having you today and you've had some amazing insights. And I'd really love to pick your brain in a general sense from the writing perspective and have you come back if you'd be willing to
I don't think John's
do
gonna
a
want me
hiatus
back.
event
We were
about the writing.
Oh,
So it sounds like we like to do these we so just to give you a little context.
Yeah.
I've been forcing hiatuses on this watch, like 1 week hiatuses as like a way to try and recapture the feeling of like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till the next season drops, even though of course everybody has watched this thing. And we do these events like I sort of encourage the community to schedule their own events. And folks are just scheduling all kinds of stuff. Like I mentioned, you know, folks are now scheduling them during our watch. Like we've got an event tonight that's sort of a what if Rory what if Lorelai had a boy instead of Rory. And it sounds like what Nikki's asking is whether you would be into coming to one of our events on our hiatus week and just talking about writing in general.
Yeah, I hosted an event, Stan, with the real Dave Rogalski, just talking about the music in general in the show. And so I was thinking it would be great to have you come back and do a session with us just on the writing in general for the show, and to understand how that process works with the writing room, and so you can give us kind of the
just
the
DM me.
Hollywood truth about how writing happens.
Well, as Tiffany and Emma, who are taking my classes, will tell you, I just hate talking about writing. So yeah, no, I would love to.
Yeah, no.
I would love to.
Anyway, so maybe we can connect, Stan, and we can plan a date that would work for us to do that.
That sounds so rad. That sounds super fun. But you're also committed to next weekend with the huge Pulp Fiction episode.
Can I chime in?
Yeah. What's up,
Thank
Tasha?
you. Stan, I just followed you on Twitter, and it's not Gilmore Girls related, so I didn't think it would be appropriate to talk about it here. But I did want to pick your brain about Golden Girls because I grew up on that show.
Oh,
and Roseanne.
I think
so I'm better with like Instagram. I'm kind of mad at Twitter, but
I can DM you on Instagram then.
Yeah, that's I respond more to that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
on that.
Before you go, sorry.
All right. So
you're starting the next one at 9:30, right?
We're starting the next one at 9:30. And by the way, folks, harvest those kernels. Harvest those kernels if you haven't.
And I think
thanks for joining us, Stan, and for all the insight.
Oh yeah,
thank you so much for joining us, Stan.
Yeah, is there anything else we want to talk about on this episode? Just like from a plot perspective, we covered the secret society. We covered the Christopher stuff.
Can I say something? I just want to say I love Doyle on this episode. That's
Doyle is Doyle.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, I kind of like that character, but I don't know if I'm going to say that I love that character right now. But
you will.
This episode, I was like, oh, okay, now I know why everyone loves that guy, because this episode was the best. That was like Doyle at his best.
And we got to give him something sympathetic, that he had feelings, behind all his, kind of moxie.
Ranty.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, one question.
Can we ask Valerie to talk about the hot dog?
Wait, one quick second. We'll ask Valerie about the hot dog, but I wanted to ask Stan one thing. This was something that I heard. I don't know where I heard. I don't remember where I heard it, but I remember hearing something, and I mentioned it the other night. And then I was like, "Oh, I'm going to ask Stan. Maybe he heard something about it." And if you did, and you're not allowed to say, that's totally fine as well. And I don't really remember where I heard it, but I could swore I heard that I'm pretty sure it was during season 5 that the writers had considered the idea of my character, the Brian character, having a crush on Rory. Do you remember that?
That actually does sound familiar.
Yeah.
No
that
way.
It would have probably just manifested if it had happened with my character being just incredibly awkward anytime she came.
Yes. I think more as something funny and to play with rather than like a plot point that you'd end up together. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry you did not end up. You're not the father of the baby.
But you know what though? I have, thanks to this community, I now do officially have a Team Brian, and I'm really happy.
Thank God.
But I mean, it did take a Team Robert to happen before, but at least I have one now.
There's also
but you had half alien. Come on.
Yeah, I
right.
know.
Yeah.
I want to say about I want to say something about the hot dog.
The hot dog. Valerie, did Sean absolutely hate that hot dog?
She's making ice cream.
Valerie?
We talked about it. It's early. Maybe we should talk about it on
someone asked earlier
about. So sorry. Okay, I'm here. I'm just trying to get ready.
Valerie leaps over her ice cream, does a somersault towards the phone.
Not quite, but close. So ask the question about the hot dog. What do you
did Sean just absolutely hate wearing that hot dog?
Oh my God, he hated it. Like, what's hysterical is I saw him and I was just like, oh my God, Sean. And I had like a little tiny camera. My camera had the capability to do video. And I was like, Sean, sing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song. And he's like, oh, hell no. And I
mean,
I
I'm
have
surprised.
been saying, "Oh hell no" or something on my video, but like, I was like, "Dude, do it for me." But yeah, it was really heavy, very uncomfortable, and hot, of course, really super hot. And so I had to help him, try to help him as much as possible. Luckily, it was very quick. I don't think he had to be in it that long.
I'm surprised that he didn't trip there when he went over the curb. I mean,
He jumped.
Yeah, I know, but how did he know it was there? I guess maybe was, I think Lorelai was holding his hand. Maybe she squeezed his hand at the right time, because he wouldn't have been able to see it.
Well, I'm sure that they probably, if it wasn't, he probably had to. They choreographed it, I'm sure there were people that were. I feel like I remember in between shots, I was there helping him stay steady as well. If I remember correctly, because yeah, those kind of things are cumbersome, and anytime I am on set with a walkabout, those are called walkabouts. There is always a costumer or someone with that person while they are in the costume, and we usually have to bring them. We will they'll get dressed in their base layers, like their leotard and stuff, and then we'll have the actual thing on set right next to wherever they're starting, so that they can put it on whenever we've done it.
I was trying to catch up on
earlier
episodes.
in the episode about if someone wore the Wiener costume at a fan fest, and I know at my first fan fest in 2018, someone wore it and was like shouting the same sentences as Kirk did in the show, walking around the tent and giving out dragonfly flyers. So I'm sure there was someone, and I know who was it.
I feel like I remember the same thing, Claudia. Like, there was someone that was wearing the hot dog. I feel like
it was probably Amy in disguise.
It was Megan. For everyone who knows her, it was Megan. She always does like amazing costumes at every fan fest.
John said on Scott's podcast, because I was trying to catch up on episodes because I'm very behind. He said that was like the most iconic Kirk job, and he loved that job for him. Like, he was like, that's the most iconic Kirk job, wearing a hot dog costume, trying to drum up lunch with a dragonfly. So yeah, he loved that job.
So I'll be expecting flowers from him, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Stan, I would just like to say that the fact that you wrote on Roseanne and Gilmore Girls and Golden Girls and Are Alive to Tell the Story, that's legendary work, and I really appreciate your writing and just like what you've done in the world. Thank you so much for coming in to remark his.
Thank you. Since you wrote on Roseanne, though.
I love you all, and I love our community, and thank you, John, for all the hard work you're doing and bringing everyone together with this. It was really super fun. I look forward to next week as well.
Next week is going to be big, because it's going to be you, Alan, Nick, my sister. You know that my sister played the Uma Thurman dancer in that.
I did not know that till I was reading about it.
Yeah, that my sister, and I think Shelley Cole wants to join us as well. She was like, she sent me a message saying, I want to be on that. I want to be on that episode as well. So so it's going to be a big episode, which also means that and Valerie's going to be there. That's right. So it's going to end up being a very
5 people.
Like there won't be a lot of fans on that episode. I'll probably put it behind a reservation wall, and it'll probably be about 13,000 kernels to get a.
John, we barely have 2,000.
Exactly.
We barely got 2,000. You want me to spend this money, and then you get this paywall? Okay. All right. You really are the kingpin.
To be honest, on that, kidding with you guys. On that episode, because it's gonna be so big, I think that we would all, be okay with just sitting in the audience and listening to you guys talk.
I agree.
I need
yourself.
Definitely.
I need to get you to spend. I need to get you spending those kernels, folks.
We will spend
If it's
them.
not going to be on this episode, it will be.
30,000.
If it's not going to be on this episode, it's going to be on that 100th episode messenger bag.
Yes,
I
have all of
to
mine.
see that back.
Hey guys.
All right, everybody.
I'm gonna pop out. Have a great day, and we will see you next week. If not, someone texting me saying, "Hey, you have to be here." Somebody's something.
Bye, Valerie. Have a good day.
Love it.
Have a good day, Valerie.
Bye, Val. So really quickly, before we dive into our next episode, let me just say a thank you again, Stan. This was amazing. Feel free to stick around as long as you want or leave quietly. I know you have a class coming up soon.
Yep.
I just wanted to give everyone, I mean, of course, you guys all just always break my riddles before yeah, you're good. You're good. So I'm going to give those who are still working hard to try and figure out the clue.